Paula Pete works here, back like we never left after a very long break and a lot of Thanksgiving festivities. As you may or may not know, Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, was in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on Thursday, which was Thanksgiving. And it was really cool to see him bobbing down the street, and his hat did not pop this time, which is fantastic. But yes, we are here with One Piece chapter 1132 entitled Adventure in ELBAPH. We also are greeted with the 19th volume of Yamato's cover story, in which a castle is being built in place of the old Udon prisoner mine. So Udon is getting a castle now. I wonder who's going to be the daimyo of Udon. I'm trying to think. I don't know, actually. We'll have to see. I can't wait to see who is crowned the new daimyo of Udon. But yeah, we got Yamato, Speed, and Otama checking out, along with Yamato writing Otama's weird dog. So yeah, I don't know where this is going. Perhaps we'll see some old beast pirates like Babanuki, Old Maid, that guy. And I don't know. We'll have to see what comes of this. But we are on an adventure. We are on a cruise in which we are introduced to the name of the little boy who we saw Shanks talking to, in which we got our like first look at ELBAPH, and his name is Colon. It's kind of weird. Someone brought this up to me, but it's weird how some giants are just named after like weird body parts, because GERD is like a stomach illness or something. And then in the filler, we have a character called Lily in Stomach. And yeah, she was a filler character that existed, I think, in accordance with the One Piece movie film Z, if I recall. So yeah, it's weird. There are a lot of body puns with giant names. I don't know why that is. But yeah, this guy is named Colon, like the organ. So that's wild. But yeah, he's being tasked by the barkeep, who I guess is named Ripley. I'm not sure. But yeah, the female barkeep, whose name may or may not be Ripley, is giving Colon a parcel to take to Broggy and Dory, because they are taking a trip to the village of ELBAPH, which is on a level that we find out is called the Sun level, because there are apparently 3 levels to ELBAPH: the underworld, of which Loki was at, the Sun level, in which everyone lives on, and then the Heaven level, which I don't think we get too much into in this chapter, but I'm sure will be explained at some point. So, moving forward, we are approaching this rainbow of sorts. Everyone's excited. I love Bai's expression as her eyes are lighting up, much like Luffy's. The parallels between her and Luffy continue, it seems. And yeah, Broggy explains how this rainbow is being made. He says it's really nothing out of the ordinary. You can draw them with a sunstone painter. Jinbei questions draw, and then I believe he also says, "Are you saying someone made that rainbow?" And then Broggy says, "Well, of course." And apparently, yeah, you can sail up this rainbow. Now, what I immediately thought of, and I don't think anyone's going to catch this because probably no one cares but me, but when you remember when Dory and Broggy were first introduced, right? This is the first time giants were ever in the series, right? Back in Little Garden. You know who else was in Little Garden? Miss Golden Week, also known as Marianne, right? And she had the ability known as color traps. Now, what if color traps and this sunstone painter are related? Because I have talked about this, I believe, 2 times in a row during the time of April, in which I think there is a Dull Fruit user somewhere who can imbue the power of paint of some sort into objects. That's basically what the idea is. And maybe this person is related to Marianne or was her teacher. And that's how you keep getting these weird effects, because Marianne in the Baroque Works cover story also makes a rainbow out of paint that is able to materialize real clothes on several of the Baroque Works members, including Mr. One and Mr. Zero, also known as Crocodile. So I find it very interesting that this is now the second time in which a rainbow is shown to be a physical object, and said physical object has weird properties and is associated with paint in some way. So we'll have to see if that person is on ELBAPH or was on ELBAPH. This person with this weird Dofru power that can make these rainbow constructs. Because I think it's no coincidence that her color traps and this Sunstone painter have similar abilities in which they make rainbows physical in some way. Because even though it's questionable if the rainbow that Mary Ann creates was physical, it could create physical objects. So on that, I don't know. That's why I'm saying, for how weird it's being, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the effect of a devil fruit. I really wouldn't. Because this reads like the abilities associated with a paramecia type devil fruit, in which you can infuse objects and whatnot with your ability. Because we've seen this with, like, say, the Soul fruit. We've seen it technically with the Shadow fruit, in which you can infuse an object or a thing with a substance or a power source, and it transforms them into something. With shadows, you can make zombies. With souls, you can make homies. So I don't know. It's very possible. So maybe, yeah, this devil fruit user does exist somewhere. So yeah, they're sailing up the rainbow in an immaculate panel. Bonnie is amazed, and it's very fun and very cool to see her interacting with Robin so much, as we saw in the previous chapter. All I'm saying, boys, if she doesn't join, I may be heartbroken. I actually might be, because she's been given so much character up to this point. But yeah, they're riding up the rainbow, and Brocky and Dora are actually talking to Stanson and Haruden about how they captured the so-called moose, which we know is the Edosaurus, and are planning to give it to the Straw Hats for a big banquet. So yeah, we got all that down. That's great. I love the sailing up the rainbow panel. It's great. It's absolutely magnificent. Also, if I'm correct, and this is a very cool attention to detail, the back part of the Great Eric is broken, and I think that's where Saturn was back in Egghead, and that's when Bonnie and Luffy punched him off. So he took the back of the Great Eric with him when he went flying, so that's very funny. Man, he's dead now. That's crazy. Anyway, moving on. We meet up with Goldberg and Gerd, as Goldberg is carrying the Sunny, and Gerd has met up with Luffy, and she is fawning over him. Luffy has bagged another baddie. It keeps happening. He can't keep getting away with this. Fantastic. But then that's when the whole explanation comes up, in which she says she's not like Road, but she is very fond of humans. And that's when Luffy makes a connection, like, oh yeah, Road was the guy wearing the skull mask. And that's when Goldberg questions, hey, you came from the realm of the dead, right? But what were you doing down there? Did you fall? And Luffy is shocked, because apparently Loki told him to keep the deal that he made with him a secret, and don't tell anyone about their meeting. Which is kind of fascinating and kind of makes me think further that, yeah, Loki's not the bad guy in this arc. Matter of fact, I think we'll be talking about the bad guy a little later in this chapter. But yeah, no, Loki is not the bad guy. This kind of confirms it, if you ask me. Because Luffy trusts him enough to keep his secret, even though he's terribly bad at lying, of which the two giants catch as he starts to sweat as he tries to come up with a lie. But they're just glad he's okay. So yeah, in the second level of the force of the second level, actually, Road is tricked and is smashed by a giant tree due to the trappings of Zoro and the boys. And it's very funny because Road is stupid. A stupid dum-dum. Which then results in him getting a a ocean sovereignty mocking attack from Gerd and Goldberg, and they both hit him in the back. Good. Good, he's a creep. He deserves it. Fantastic. And it's crazy that even after being hit by lightning, he's still on this whole Tasso bit, wanting Nami and Chopper to be figurines in his playset. And it's really kind of wild that he was expecting Gerd to save him. He's terrible, terrible, nasty work. Anyway, so this is Sanji's first time seeing a giant lady, and he's immediately infatuated, which that's no surprise. And this is where everyone meets up because Luffy calls out to the boys. And Gerd now actually furthers her explanation, outright saying, yes, we are Haruden subordinates. We are all a part of the new Giant Warrior Pirates. And again, we apologize upon Road's behalf. And Gerd is going to guide them into the ELBAPH village. And it's so cute how she just grabs them all up, and Sanji is in bliss because he gets to recline on giant cleavage. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Oda is so back, bruh. Oda is so back, and I kind of knew that Gerd was going to be a bit of a big deal because out of all the new Giant Warrior Pirates, she and Harugen, I believe, are the only ones who are strongly associated with Big Mom, because Gerd grew up with Big Mom, right? And at least Harugen knows of Big Mom because everyone witnessed when she killed Fallbeard by throwing him over her shoulder, which was crazy. So yeah, I guess they're the two most important members of the new Giant Warrior Pirates right now. Of course, we've seen Stanson in the pre-time skip, but he doesn't have as much narrative leverage, I think, as opposed to Gerd and Harugen. Moving on, though, we get an explanation of the different levels of ELBAPH, and yeah, the realm of heaven isn't explained. They just say that everyone just lives in the realm of the sun, which is the second level. So it's not the very top, but it's the second level. We don't know what's at the top, which is an interesting concept to me, because I wonder, does anyone live up there? Does Shiki live up there? I don't know, because we get a mysterious shot later on, so maybe that is the realm of heaven. And oh my goodness, we see the village of ELBAPH. Oda is so back. This has to be one of the best manga panels of 2024. Nah, you ain't getting it. You ain't hearing me right now. This is detailed. This is immaculate. I don't think we've seen something like this in a hot minute. I don't even think Egghead matched up to this. This looks lived in. This is amazing. The size of the buildings, the foliage, the castles. We have like these opposing buildings on each side. We have like a big city hall looking building, and then we have a building that looks like maybe like the real Stein's castle or whatever. It's crazy. And what's interesting too, apparently Gerd and the boys are riding in on a cloud, and I guess it's an island cloud. So I'm assuming a lot here, but I guess since they're so high up, island clouds can just form. I don't know. But the idea of that is crazy, because that has to be the case, because they were concerned about falling through, so it has to be an island cloud. Incredible. It's crazy that we have island clouds this high up, but I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. And even in the diagram in which the levels of ELBAPH are explained, we see clouds. So yeah, I don't know, taken aback by there being island clouds. And on the side panel of which we see the great village of ELBAPH, we do have a very touching flashback panel in which Usopp and Luffy make their proclamation way back, I think, at the end of Little Garden, of which they were dead set on coming to ELBAPH one day. So that's nice to see that we're finally here after 30 years. Oh my goodness. It's a tearjerker though. It really is, that we're just here. We're finally here. We're here at the village of ELBAPH, bruh. Man, it sounds like this when you think, is One Piece really going to be over soon? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, it feels like he cared more about this than even Wano to a degree, because I know one of his big inspirations, I'm talking about Oda, one of his big inspirations was Vicky the Viking. And then you have the, what's the other comic? Asterix and Obelix. Yeah, Asterix and Obelix. Because even Queen is dressed up like one of those characters. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's great. It's absolutely magnificent. Yeah, and Usopp's crying. Yeah, you have every right to cry. And that is when we get some notes. And they say, it is a sight of such enormity that it stuns all visitors. Most fail to find words that adequately describe its immense grandeur. Chopper's eyes are lighting up. They call it the Kingdom of Warland. It resides on the massive Isle of ELBAPH. And I love that Sanji has now dove face first into Gerd's bosom. This man is a menace. Fantastic. Hence its more common moniker, ELBAPH, the land of the giants. And that's when the great Eric and Harugen and Stanson's ship roll in off the rainbow. And of course, Chopper, Usopp, and Luffy are freaking out because they're riding on a rainbow, dog. Amazing. But to continue, from the mighty trees to the gentle flowers, from sea to sky to land, all life on this particular island is so huge it takes one's breath away. To those who seek adventure, I concede it would be a great shame to turn away from this marvelous land. However, if nothing else, I implore you to keep this one piece. One piece! He said it, he said it, he said it, boys. He said the title of the manga. But yeah, I implore you to keep this one piece of advice in the back of your mind. Should you venture out and arrive on ELBAPH's vast and mysterious soil, heed my simple warning. If I could only write one thing about this enticing nation, it would be this: do not linger there for too long. Signed, Louis Arnott, Explorer. So if you don't know, Louis Arnott, and this is very, I guess, interesting or appropriate that he's talking about ELBAPH here, because the first time we hear about this explorer guy is when we are on the verge of being introduced to Skypiea back in Jaya, when that big ship falls out of the sky, which then kicks off the whole scuba diving plot and et cetera, et cetera. It was Louis Arnott who was talking. So I wonder if we'll ever get to meet him, because it's weird that we didn't get anything about this in Wano. Because you would think Wano would be a place that he would visit possibly, but I don't know. Maybe back then there was a border around the nation and it was too treacherous to get there. Don't know. But yeah, we've had him talk about Skypiea. We've had Louis Arnott talk about imagination as we were kicking off Skypiea when it was still Jaya, right? And now we're having him talk directly about ELBAPH here. So I don't know, it's something interesting. And as he's talking, we get another shot of a place, and this could be the upper level, I'm not sure. We see a bear, and yes, I did check. This bear is original. He is not the Terraguma or anything like that. He's not from Strong World at all. He's just a large bear, but at the bottom, we see the Casa Hat guy. I made a video about this because many other people were talking about it. I think the main antagonist of this arc is going to be the Golden Lion Shiki. I'm telling you, because he was the guy awaiting the Straw Hats on ELBAPH in chapter 1124. And of course, a lot of people are saying that this too was the guy in the Crocus cover story bit who was drinking with Crocus in front of Laboon. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I think it's very possible it could be Shiki, especially seeing as how, again, the amount of Strong World in ELBAPH is too weird. It's too weird. It just keeps coming, you know? So I'm willing to bet that, yeah, that's Shiki. That is Shiki. So I'm very excited, man. I'm so glad Oda is back for real, because the village of ELBAPH is simply immaculate. There's even like a little guardrail through the trees. Look at that. But yeah, with that being said, no break next week, which is also great. Love to hear that. And with that, I have nothing more to say. Give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Paulipede Works It.